Good morning. Good morning. Hey, yeah.
Of course, we all know that with coronavirus, a lot of our businesses got affected. The economy is affected, not only in your country, but all over the world. We all know that businesses are suffering. We all know that people are suffering. But we also know that the coronavirus has taught us a lot. How do your business survive through these kind of days is something that's very important for you to know if you are a business owner. And it's a question that a lot of business owners ask themselves, especially if you're a startup or a medium business, because the experience you have in this field is still young, is still fresh, and you still want to understand, how do I manage this crisis? Just to give you a small highlight, I'm going to pinpoint a couple of things you can do that can help you overcome what's happening to your business during the coronavirus, and that can make your business thrive, grow, and survive what's happening. Number one, the first question I hear from people nowadays is, when are things going to go back to normal? When can our lives go back to normal? I can't wait for things to go back to normal. And this doesn't even make sense. If your expectation that after the coronavirus is gone, that life is going to go back to normal, you're wrong. Because coronavirus have rebooted the world. It was like a computer. It changed everything and restarted everything and downloaded a new version of everything. And it came here to teach us a lesson. As much as it is hurtful and a lot of people lost their lives, but it also taught us a lot of things on a personal level, on a professional level, and especially if you're a business owner. Number one, you need to accept the fact that you're living through a crisis and that this crisis is going to change your life and nothing's going to go back to normal. Number two, you need to prepare for change. If you're going to sit and dwell in sadness instead of like finding a way to grow, because there's so many solutions right now out there for you, because we live in the era of technology. There's a solution for everything, literally. There's a way for you to reach out to clients in so many different ways. You need to get out there, get on your feet, and find solutions so your business can survive. I'll give you a very simple example. The biggest brands in the world, LV, Gucci, Cartier, and all that. All these companies never had a WhatsApp number. All they did is you order online or you go to the store. But surprisingly, after the coronavirus happened, all of them started doing interactions with clients on WhatsApp. You can literally purchase something from Gucci on WhatsApp. How did a brand that had a core belief in their business against doing something like that is doing something like that? That's because this business wants to survive. And to survive, you have to let go of your core business model sometimes and change. You have to be ready to adapt and change. That's very important. The third point is the consumer behavior during coronavirus and after the coronavirus is going to completely change. The consumer is looking for brands and companies that will look out for them, will support them, will not take away all their money, will make sure they're safe. There's so many points I can point out of how our behavior as consumers will change. Our expectations will change. And if the companies are not ready to deliver to these demands and to take care of these changes and to cater to these changes, these companies will not survive. As simple as that. You have to understand that the behavior of a consumer is not like before. Before, it'll be easy to just say a couple of things, convert the consumer into a buying customer. Right now, that conversion will not work. This way will not work because the behavior, the emotions of the consumers have changed. And I said, there is a demand, but the demand is different. The consumer behavior has changed. So as a company, you have to be ready to change your product and services to cater to the current behavior and needs of each consumer. A lot of companies will fight what's going on to survive, but a lot of them are going to go away. We've seen big companies that have been there for ages, Avis, Golden Gym, so many big companies that were there for so many years. They grabbed a huge market share and they made their millions and billions. Just went bankrupt. You know why? Because their time has gone and now it's time for new startups to take their place. It's time for the fresh blood, the new blood, the smart entrepreneurs, the survivors, the ones that are going to come up with ideas that are going to change the way these old businesses were. These businesses left to make spaces for the new youth, for the new businesses to take over. It's very simple. You need to understand that entrepreneurship is not just a lot of money, is not just a person with a great idea or an amazing business model. Entrepreneurship is attitude. Entrepreneurship is a personality. Without that personality, your great idea is going to die. Without that personality, all that money is going to burn. It's a personality. It's simple. How you look at things during this crisis is going to show if you're a real entrepreneur or not. How you're going to thrive to survive during this crisis is going to show if you're a real entrepreneur or not. This is the right time to shine. In crisis, there is always opportunity. I just launched a business. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but I launched it during the crisis. Why? Because it caters to a problem that's happening in the crisis. And that company is called Halahai. So I'm telling you, it's not the end of the world. You can make it happen. Huge restaurants are shutting down because they can't afford the rent or the salaries. But a smart entrepreneur is going to come up with a different concept. Go to these buildings, go to these offices that these restaurants left or these locations, and we'll bargain with these owners and tell them, listen, I cannot pay this much, but I'll pay that much. What if I take half of it? What if I take a quarter of that location? Give it to me. I want to do something. And the businesses that own those spaces want to survive as well, so they will do it. Entrepreneurship is an attitude. This is the right time for you to go out there and fight for what you want. This is the right time to look at the new demands that are in the market and find solutions for them. This is the time for you to look at the world and find solutions for what's happening in the world and create a product or a service out of it. In crisis, there is always opportunity. Don't forget that. And don't forget that entrepreneurship is a personality. And if you want someone to invest in your business, even during crisis, understand that the first thing an investor looks for is a person that's investor fit. That means personality. Why? Because if you had a great idea, but your personality was not fit, guess what? All the money they're going to give you, you're going to burn it away. You're going to lose it because you don't have the right personality to attain it, to sustain it. So your personality comes first as an entrepreneur. Stay positive and remain positive and grow during these times because you're like birds. When the wind crashes your nest, you can start a new nest somewhere else. You have what it takes. It's all in here. Take care, guys. Thank you.